Our privacy is being destroyed left, right, and center, and we're not doing anything about it. How could we when we don't even know when we're being spied on? Today we're going to talk about a very interesting story, and this story is brought to us from a teenager who discovered a critical flaw in the internet's architecture. You see, this flaw allows your location to be tracked without your consent and without your knowledge. It's happening right now to millions of us on apps we use every day like Discord, X, and Signal. Think of the internet like a series of tubes. I'm kidding. Think of it like a network of highways. And on these networks you have data traveling all across the world, bouncing from computer to computer. You have new highways being created all the time. The key question is, how do we make these highways fast? That's where companies like Cloudflare come in. Cloudflare builds these digital warehouses, sort of like local distribution centers, to give you your data very quickly. Think of it like you're going grocery shopping. When you need to go buy milk and eggs, you don't go drive out to your supermarket. You just go to the nearest convenience store right around the corner. The internet is very similar. Cloudflare builds these digital warehouses called CDNs, content delivery networks. And when you're watching this video or you're watching Netflix, the data doesn't have to travel halfway across the world to get to your computer. It just needs to travel 100, 150 miles from the local CDN data center. Now, the only problem is these CDNs, these convenience stores that make the internet fast, they are surveillance hotspots. Let's dive into the actual issue that this kid found. Let's say you get sent an image on Discord. When your phone downloads this image, it saves a local copy to a nearby Cloudflare data center. So next time your phone requests that image, it can be sent to you even quicker. But here's the crux of the issue. The fact that that data center and that image you were sent are linked means your location can be revealed. You see, you just have to go ask the data centers which one of you has this image. And if only one of them light up, they've got your location now within the 100-mile, 150-mile radius that data center serves. But even more than that, it gets even crazier because it doesn't require any action on your end. It just requires you to be sent a notification. So the kid did this to the Discord CTO. He sent the CTO a friend request on Discord. And with that notification, the CTO's phone downloaded the kid's Discord avatar. The avatar was then uploaded to a nearby data center. The kid wrote a script that said, hey, go to each of these data centers, figure out which one has the avatar. When they do, and he found a match, he found the CTO. In this situations, like most situations, people don't see what's actually going on here. They say, oh, whatever. It's a 150-mile radius. Who cares about that? Or they say, oh, just use a VPN, bro. It's not a big deal. You're missing the entire point. Today, the attacker knows your radius to 150 miles. Sure. But tomorrow, there's a new app, and it uses a different CDN. Maybe it's not Cloudflare, and they can create a different 150-mile radius. On the third day, they use some public records about you, or there's a little bit of social engineering done, and they draw a third radius. And suddenly, you're triangulated and you're done for. You see, the issue here is that users are being forced into a state of hyper-vigilance against risk that they aren't even being informed about. The privacy is not decaying with one big explosion. It's death by 1,000 cuts. Now, yes, you can take some mitigations. You could use a VPN, sure. You could disable push notifications, sure. You could turn off automatic downloading of images, fine. But each of these mitigations come with their own usability trade-offs and security risks of their own. Not to mention, it's been shown in the past that mobile notifications bypass VPNs. So your VPN may not even help protect you in this issue. You see, the question here is really, why are users being forced to make these decisions, to put these mitigations in place, to find out these risks on their own? Imagine you're outside, you're enjoying your day, going on a walk, grabbing some coffee, whatever. And some creep is following you, tracking your every move. Some guy comes up to you and says, "Hey man, what's the big issue? Just put on a baseball hat and put on some sunglasses if you're worried about being stalked." That is the reality that we're living in. There's an even deeper lesson here to learn, and this cuts beyond your individual privacy. You see, this is a lesson about the systemic rot that has allowed these issues to happen in the first place. When the researcher responsibly disclosed this issue to the companies involved, they all played a game of corporate hand-pointing. Signal said, "We're not responsible for network layer privacy." Discord said, "Okay, yeah, we'll take a look at it." And then they came back around and said, "Actually, it's Cloudflare's issue." Cloudflare patched the initial problem where you could ask a single data center if it had that image, but they maintain that the larger caching is core to their business and really more so a problem for the consumers, not them. Long story short, this vulnerability still exists today, and that exploit is still possible. This game of corporate hot potato reveals a bigger structural issue with the way that our internet infrastructure has been created. You see, everybody owns a piece of something, but nobody is responsible for all of it. Signal and Discord, they own the messaging and the platforms. Cloudflare owns the delivery. But who owns your privacy? Who is responsible for the interactions of these systems and the vulnerabilities that that creates? This is not some isolated incident. Alright, Log4j, Spectre, Heartbleed. All of these were not caused by some fundamental flaw that could just be patched away. They were caused because of the intersection of the internet systems that we depend on and trust. It's like we have a set of dominoes and somebody comes by, pushes one thing over, and the entire thing crumbles. In this case, it was very interesting because it exposed a conflict between the requirements that we have for the internet and the requirements that we have for our privacy. The very features that were used to make the internet fun, fast, engaging, like push notifications, CDNs, caching, were turned into the very weapons of surveillance. And then we have this game of corporate hand-pointing, where every company says, "Oh yeah, we own your data, but we're not responsible for your privacy." This case exposes the fact that we need to rethink not just how our infrastructure is designed, but how we can hold these companies accountable for our privacy. Because right now we've got this internet highway, and they're writing the map of your lives, but nobody wants to admit that they're holding the pen. This issue has been affecting millions. It's hitting us on apps we use every day, Discord, X, Signal, more. And yet it hardly even made the news. If you need to be kept ahead of these issues that are affecting your privacy, subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. I'll be sharing more very soon.